What is holding you back? What is holding you back? I know in my life what has always held me back is mainly fear. Fear has held me back. In fact, I feared putting my fears in the church bulletin for all of you to see. Let me tell you, that takes a little bit of humility. The fears, the things that hold me back, fear of failure, rejection, being hurt, pain, hunger, cold, anger, what people think, imperfection, ridicule, time, demands, making decisions, making choices, accidents, illness, unreciprocated love, being evaluated, being judged, are some of the fears that have held me back. And the symptoms that these fears have caused me, nausea, trembling, rapid heartbeat, feelings of unreality, and this is the main one, preoccupied with the fear, hyper-focusing on the fear, giving the fear the power that it has to hold me back. Fear is what has held me back. And so it was fear that I experienced when I placed myself in today's gospel. Place yourself in today's gospel as the man who ran up and knelt before Jesus. I want you to place yourself in today's gospel as the man who ran and knelt before Jesus and listen to Jesus speaking as if he is speaking to you. And I want you to be very aware of what are you feeling when you hear Jesus say this to you. What are you thinking when Jesus speaks this to you? What fears are you experiencing that is holding you back from doing what the Lord had just asked you to do? So are you ready? You're going to place yourself in today's gospel as the man who just knelt before Jesus, and Jesus is saying to you, you are lacking in one thing. Go, sell what you have, and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me. Go, sell what you have. Go, sell what you have. Any fear there? All right, Jeff, you're going to go home and sell everything you have. Is there any fear of what your wife, Michelle, might think of that behavior? Yes, there is. And your kids? Or how about this? Is there any fear of what your clients might think about you going and selling everything you have? Those clients whose money you brilliantly manage on their behalf. What would they think? Fear of what others think? Fear? Think about those fears. What is holding you back? Because the reality is, so often we are being held back from following Jesus. But I look at what has set me free. What has set me free of this fear is recognizing what is Jesus really asking me to do. I believe that Jesus is challenging us to reflect on what is holding us back from following what he wants us to do. Think about, what is the greatest commandment of Jesus? To love. Do possessions sometimes get in the way of love? Do things sometimes get in the way of our relationships with others? When we reflect that Jesus is trying to help us to be unrestrained in the love that we have for one another, then we are truly recognizing what Jesus is asking us to do. I know, because I am living proof of what his love has done for me. Living proof of what he's done for me. My mother, if she was able to figure out her tablet this morning, is watching this live stream. Hi, Mom. You know how much I love my mom. How difficult do you think it was to move from Chicago and go to the seminary in Spokane, Washington, and serve in Oregon? So far from my mom. What did I need to let go of? But I am living proof of what his love has done for me, because the reality is I needed to leave home to really appreciate how much I loved my mother. And her doing the laundry and stuff like that. No, I mean, I had to leave my mother to truly come to know how much I loved her. So now every moment that we can spend together has become quality time. Because the reality, when I was living with home, how much do you think my mother actually saw me? It was kind of like a bed and breakfast is probably the best way to describe my relationship with my mother at that time. You know, all right, fine, we were in the same house for the same quantity of time, but was the quality of time there? I am living proof of what his love has done for me. And you see, I look around this room and I see living proof of what the Lord has done for you. How the Lord has set you free to love. You are living proof of what the Lord has done for you in the love that you share with others, and take the time to share with others. Because the reality is, when we die, what are we going to get to take with us to heaven? All those possessions? All those possessions? Because what was the full phrase you heard today? Jesus said, go and sell what you have and give to the poor. And what was the rest of the statement? Follow me. You forgot the part in between. Thank you, Gretchen. Gretchen was listening. We so like when Gretchen was listening. Treasure in heaven. The stuff, the possessions, nah. But the bonds of love we forge here on earth cannot be broken by death. Bonds of love that we forge here on earth cannot be broken with death. I was meeting with Jody Hall yesterday, planning her husband Bob's funeral. He just passed away. Part of the plans is she shared with me, because it's a part of the funeral rite, she shared with me the names of the loved ones in her family that have already died, that were waiting at the gates of heaven to welcome Bob. The bonds of love that we forge here on earth are not broken by death. The bonds of love that we forge here on earth are not broken by death. And now Bob will be there waiting for Jody, and with open arms when her time comes. Not anytime soon, okay? Let's put that off for in the future. Okay, he can wait. Bob can wait. But think for a moment. Who are those bonds of love that you have forged here on earth that are waiting for you right now, up in heaven, with open arms for that day. That's what Jesus is asking us to focus on. Not stuff, not belongings, not possessions. Love. Love. Because you see, for me, I don't know if you've noticed it, but I'm kind of slightly an extrovert in little ways. I want a lot of people up there when it gets to be that day, okay? I mean, and so I want to forge as many bonds of love here on earth that I could possibly forge, because when we get up to heaven, boy, we're going to be so celebrating that heavenly banquet. I am so looking forward to that. You are living proof of what his love can do for you. And the world needs this living proof now. Needs you to testify of all the things in the world. It's love. That love that we share for God, that love that we share for one another. Let us be living proof as we forge those bonds of love here on earth that cannot be broken by death.